and it's the latest entry into the John Wick universe, and it flopped, right? And I tried to draw a comparison between this and Furiosa because, to my mind, both movies are reasonably good. Like they're pretty standard action movies. They're not girl bossy or anything like that necessarily. Maybe they're a slight step down from their parent franchises, but they're still okay.
Well, yeah, that's fine as long as the movie at all is good, like in grand scheme. You know, the big picture. As long as the movie is good, it's fine. The problem is that there's a massive fatigue with media consumers when it comes to women in lead roles because they have been so bad in the past almost 10 years. It's so bad. Like the women are super badasses, the men are total villains, and the women are also total bitches. Like completely unlikable characters. I mean, it's if you have to deal with those women at work all the time and in family, we don't want to see that in movies because it's shit.
They get good word of mouth, good reviews, like audience scores seem to be really good, and yet nobody's watching them. And like they both flopped. Furiosa, I think, made 178 million worldwide, and it had a production budget of 168 million. So obviously nowhere near breaking even. And Ballerina is on track to do the same thing. It made 25 million in its opening weekend. It costs 90 million to make, so it's not a cheap movie. It's obviously not going to get anywhere near break-even point. And I theorized that this could be down to one, probably putting too much budget onto these like spin-off movies, but two, I think audiences are just kind of sick of girl boss movies. They're especially sick of like a girl boss replacing a male-led franchise.
Yeah.
Remember Batgirl, the show on Netflix? I think it was horrible. I mean, I haven't watched it because very obvious reasons, and I've never heard anything positive about that shit ever. It was so bad. I think they had one season, and the second season got cancelled. No one liked that shit.
And the downside of all that is that they don't give a chance to like movies that are actually halfway decent. And these are like the casualties of war because we've had so much from Disney, Marvel, whoever. It's just burned people to the point where they're not going to give anything a chance now.
Yeah.
Did Fury Road also lose money? I think it did, didn't it?
It did. It did, but not as much. Yeah, hold on. I'll need to bring that up actually.
That was also a bit girl bossy.
It was, but I guess it was still billed as a Mad Max movie, and so it wasn't ostensibly. Yeah, so it made 379 million worldwide.
That's the thing. They're both franchises named after a male lead character. Both of them don't feature the male lead character.
To the money made by Furiosa, the money is good. The movie would have had a budget of 50 million max. Then it would have been fine. No one would care.
So yes, I think that is an element, you know. Also,
you could be onto something there.
Yeah. Also, did I miss a meeting? When did we decide John Wick has a universe? Like it's a standalone kind of action-y thing. What?
Did anyone watch the TV show, the John Wick TV show?
No, literally no one on the planet did. And I honestly have to confirm that it even existed. It's like the Mandela effect. I'm not entirely convinced this show was real.
Right.
This is the first time I think I have heard about John Wick TV show, but I guess it's on some streaming service. But I can't remember having heard of it before this, which should say a lot because John Wick is kind of big with action film fans, and I'm one of those. But you know, I'm not keen of action movies that are modern because they're all CGI. It all looks fake, and they are boring because it's all the same over and over again, and it's not even fun. That's a problem.
Yeah, I actually watched it. It's not terrific. At least, unlike Ballerina, it tries to do its own thing and sort of build on the world that the John Wick films had created. You know, compared to Ballerina, which retreads John Wick's story of killing 100 people without getting hurt at all. So, you know, give it some credit for that, but it's not a very good show.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was like I think there was moves to boycott it as well because Mel Gibson was in it, like the usual bullshit.
What?
Which is ironically, Mel Gibson could have saved Fury Road and Furiosa Road. Honestly,
absolutely, he could.
I think that the problem Ballerina has is it made the mistake of putting John Wick in the movie, so you can immediately sense the change in tone and just like, this is improved instantly the moment Keanu Reeves back. It also had the first scene with the bloke fighting, which was way better than the rest of the movie. I kept thinking if only this guy had actually done the rest of the movie, it would have been so much better. Because it had stupid scenes like that. She loses to one bloke, then it comes out and goes, well, actually, if you cheat and fight like a girl, you'll win. She immediately kicks his ass just by kicking him in the balls, and then proceeds to fight the rest of the movie like a man. And she just goes 1-to-1 on strength versus everybody. And every time that happens, it doesn't work. They didn't put in the effort that's required of giving her some kind of gimmick or unique fighting style or doing the old, she's more agile and fast than men. Just anything to make it believable at all.
Well,
I picked up on this in my review.
Yeah, you've got Ana de Armas, so she's just going to kind of stare blankly at the camera and have her lips parted slightly. And that's sort of what you...
Hey, it works for me, man.
It usually does. You know what it reminds me of? You remember when everyone was pretending Halle Berry could act back in the day? Around the same time they...
Who was Halle Berry again? That's the Black Catwoman, right? Yeah. I don't remember any movie with her. I think she was in a James Bond movie. And that's kind of it. Fascinating how I don't remember any movie of her that I have actually seen. Because I think I have seen movies with her. I'm absolutely sure about that, but I don't remember any. I remember a lot of movies I've seen with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But Halle Berry, no. None.
Gave her an Oscar for showing her cans. You remember that?
Yeah. That was Monster's fault, wasn't
it? And they almost gave her
cans, to be fair.
Right. And in that wild haze, they almost gave her her very own 007 spinoff. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, why?
That's what it reminds me of. That whole era of filmmaking where like a 90-pound soaking wet woman is just defeating waves upon waves of ruddy henchmen.
Sure,
it didn't happen because they asked for too much budget, that one.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, also, like, No Time to Die was absolutely savage. No, is it No Time to Die?
Die Another Day.
Die Another Day.
There's too many movies with dying in the title. Yeah, Die Another Day.
They both got savage, but sure.
This one particularly, and I think that just killed the coolness factor for Bond, and so immediately...
The Kuma Spectre for Bond? Jesus.
They were like, no, we need to move away from like the Pierce Brosnan era. It's time to get someone new, and that killed any like potential there for a Jinx spin-off because she would have been part of a dead franchise by that point. It was moving on.
Yeah,
but I think with Ballerina.
Oh yeah, remember the next James Bond will be a Jane Bond. So the franchise is dead because no one is gonna watch that. No one will want to watch that. And no, not even the woman, because they don't care. They want to see tall, handsome dudes that get chicks. Because that's the kind of guy women are into.
Yeah, Ana de Armas, you can tell, like...
And the type of guy men want to be.
I tried to compare her with Keanu Reeves, who was training like a fucking Navy SEAL to prepare for the John Wick movies.
Right.
She seems scared of the guns that she's using. You can tell she's not comfortable with it. And, you know, as much as she's trying her best, like she looks like an actress just trying to pretend to be a, you know, an assassin or whatever. Keanu Reeves is just like a natural with a gun. And so it's completely different. But yeah, I think, sorry.
I was going to say, I think part of the reason I had an issue with this movie is that it sort of removes the myth of John Wick, because when we meet him in the first movie, he's basically a veteran. He was trained by the Roscoe Roma like she was. He went through the same sort of regimen that she did, but he'd been in the field for 20 to 30 years. So by the time the first movie comes in and he kills like 100 people, we buy that because so much of his myth and legend is endowed upon him by his enemies, by comrades. Everybody that talks about John Wick talks about how incredible he is. And then you have Eve in Ballerina, who literally just graduated 2 months ago. And after doing a handful of missions, she's able to accomplish what he did. And I get that.
Yeah, and that was the problem with Rey in Star Wars 2. She basically didn't do anything, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, she's so amazing," and she never failed in anything. That's a trope that's really, really bad, because that makes for bad characters. I mean, how is the average person supposed to go, yeah, that's just like me, if the person they're looking at is perfect in any way, shape, and possible, that it takes the people out of the movie or game or show or whatever.
She doesn't beat him in the confrontation that she has with him. I probably would have thrown my food at the screen if she did, but at the same time, it sort of just ruined the legend of John Wick by getting her to do exactly what he's able to do.
It's worse than that, because that town, they specifically said that's where assassins go to retire. So all of those people have also had 20 and 30-year careers, and she beats all of those.
Yeah.
It makes no sense whatsoever. But I'm not surprised at all, because that's Hollywood. It's just, you know, propaganda.
I mean, what was even more weird, in the John Wick movies, it's nearly all men. They'll have like one woman in the entire movie, but everyone else is all male assassins, because otherwise...
Which is great. Finally, a movie made for men. And women that watch the movies have, you know, dangerous men. Some of them are attractive, some not. That they can lust over. Because we all know women love violent men. The statistics are very, very clear.
You'd be at such a disadvantage, they'd just die out. Whereas in this, they're cramming it full of as many women as they could. I've never seen that many. It was also the same in the TV series. They're just all over the place. It's like this is an entirely different universe than the John Wick movie.
Did she say at the end that her name's Skywalker?
Yeah.
Right.
The thing is, right, I can buy that idea that like she could be a femme fatale and like, you know, she can use seduction in order to like lure her targets in.
I mean,
that's
not hard.
Like,
she's
she
a
never
woman.
uses that approach throughout this movie. It's all, as you said, Disparu. There's this moment in the movie where they suggest like, okay, you're smaller, you're weaker than the guys, and so you can't fight like them. If you try and fight them on their terms, you're always going to lose because you're always at a disadvantage. You have to find other ways. You have to cheat. You have to fight dirty. You have to fight like a girl. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, where are they going to go with this? Is she going to like bite and scratch? Is she going to pull their hair? I don't fucking know. And then like she literally just fights a bit harder and then beats the guy and then that like fights just like John Wick. The fight choreography is exactly like him throughout the movie. She'll like if a guy swings an axe at her, she'll just grab his arm and catch it.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. It's completely unrealistic.
As if she's got equal strength to him. She doesn't. And so if she tried to do that in real life, her arm would get broken and then a meat cleaver would go through her fucking head. But the movie doesn't recognize that. And so it's like the tiniest nod to this this difference between them, but it never follows through into the actual film. and that's what's frustrating about it. They did have the potential to do something interesting there. They just didn't. They didn't see it through.
They didn't do anything that would have been possible. I mean, she can hide. She is smaller than a man, so have her hide somewhere and, you know, kill people from her hiding spot and things like that. One-on-one combat is not the strength of tiny, weak people.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the film, but that's weird advice. It sounds like a boxing film or something, because all the fighting in John Wick is cheating, using what's around you, you know, pencils. So, like, to tell her to cheat and think differently, well, that seems to be like how they all think. So she's still fucked.
Yeah. If getting kicked in the balls was an I win button, the men would do it too.
No kidding. No kidding. I think there was more realistic combat in. I'm gonna have to go back to a fine filmic opus, Barbed Wire.
Barbed Wire. Oh, that was the comic book movie from the 90s with Pamela Anderson when she was hot. To her main Baywatch times. Man, I'm saying words here that people under 30 not understand. Which is funny. That, yeah, back in my day, Pamela Anderson, absolute sex symbol. Everywhere in the world, by the way. Yeah, that movie was also really bad. One of the reasons is because Pamela Anderson can't act. Because all she has is her tits. Or better said, she had. All she had.
It's like classic from the 90s.
A fine
Pamela Anderson was tearing that shit up.
But go watch that. Go watch that movie.
follow up.
She's only ever using like shotguns and what she's cheating. Right?
Yeah.
That's the whole movie.
The most realistic I've seen this, right, was in Sicario, where what's her name?
Emily Blunt.
Yeah, Emily Blunt. She tries to punch Josh Brolin like in anger
God, that
because
film
like
is so
he's
good.
fucked her over. Like literally, it just stuns him for 1 second. Then he just grabs her and fucking throws her to the ground. That's how fights like that would actually.
Yes, but you can't show that because feminist feelings would get hurt, and then they couldn't properly do it with their dogs.
happen
Do you remember?
in real life.
Do you remember the fight she has with? Why am I forgetting his name? Punisher in Netflix show. John Bernthal.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like that. That's increasingly uncomfortable. When you know the context of that fight, but like she does try. She gets somewhere, but then she gradually is just losing and losing and losing until he's basically got full control.
Yeah.
Hyper recommendation to Sicario, everybody. If you haven't seen it already, stay
It's
the
really
fuck away from
good.
the sequel.
That's a
though.
good film, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Um,
film.
This one I haven't watched. I heard it was awesome though.
It's
thought
a good,
this was
it's
a
really
show.
good movie. It's slow paced. It's same dude who did Blade Runner 2049. So
Don't worry, Reza. I fucking hate that movie too. But
Good man. Good man.
we're all good on Sicario. It's like his best film.
yeah.
But it's a bit of a sleeper film, that. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I think I caught it on TV one night and was like blown away by it. And before that, I didn't even know anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a low key sort of movie in a lot of ways. Like, it doesn't leap out of you like, oh, this is a big action movie, or it's a thriller. It's slower paced. We've lost Razor. It's a slow burn, but yeah, in terms
He's gone
of
to watch the
character-
film.
Yeah, you see him in like 3 hours.
The film doesn't make itself clear as to what it's about until way further along. Like, you're as confused as the protagonist is for a while as to what exactly is happening. But people always share scenes from it as being like a masterclass in tension. So
Yeah.
easy recommendation.
Especially the highway scene where they're about to get besieged by Mexican cartel members is phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
Sounds nice.
Yeah. It builds that feeling of threat and like the ominous sort of like looming threat of what's going to happen, and it actually makes you feel uneasy, which is really fucking good.
It's a bit
Nothing
too
just-
real to think of it as an action film. Like, it feels real the whole time.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
have you seen
Oh,
Warfare
okay, yeah,
at all?
that can be off-putting for some people. Like, really off-putting. Because reality is gruesome.
new one that just came out this year.
Fuck yeah, dude. Top tier quality film that is.
Yeah, give that a watch because that's the most. I mean, I've never been in a fucking war, but like that's the most realistic depiction of seemingly realistic that I can imagine. It was made by guys who were actually in that battle.
So Sicario is about what, like cartel violence at the border, that cartel.
Yeah, the simplest introduction to the premise is that Emily Blunt plays a character who's offered a chance to become part of a team that's going to deal some serious, significant damage to the cartel. And it sounds kind of like, because it starts quite grimly in terms of an event she's a part of. And so you as the audience are sort of on board with like, yeah, let's do it. And as the film goes on, more of the by the book approach is torn away, and the characters she's dealing with aren't telling her a lot about what's happening. And I'll leave it there in terms of it gets incredibly fucking interesting by the time you hit the end.
Kind of sounds like that.
It sounds very interesting, actually. Is that a good movie that was made in the modern days? That's a surprise.
What is that Cartel Land documentary that James Cameron's ex-wife made? You know what I'm talking about?
I never saw that.
It's great. It basically documents that, but in real life.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Sicario on.
Question: which of his ex-wives? Because he has several.
Warfare. Check him out.
Yes, good movies.
And that documentary.
Yeah, here's a question actually. What's the difference between a strong female character in the East versus the West? What are examples of strong female characters from the East? I can answer this question really fucking easily. They still act like women in the East.
Yeah.
They're not just trying to be like absurd caricatures of men.
Yeah.
Right. So they still retain an element of femininity, and they don't like have this arrogant air about them. Like, I'm so much better than you. Usually.
Oh God, yes. That's what makes them so unlikable, the arrogance. Oh my God, it's incredible how Hollywood gets that so wrong. Is what I want to say, but we all know why. Because they're retarded. And it's all politics, and they are that arrogant. So of course their characters have to be that are arrogant. Because that's just how they are.
They are just regular women who are thrust into positions where they're forced to do what they have to do to survive, or to help out their friends or whatever. Whereas over here in the West, they've been written as guys. They've got the swagger of guys, they've got the arrogance of guys, or at least what the writers imagine guys are like. And it's just completely different.
Yeah,
and that's
what makes it boring. You know, exploring those differences is what's fun. Like, women can be evil and mean in their own ways.
Yes, and that's why Ripley from the Alien movies is so good. She starts out just as a woman, as second in command. I think second in command, and it's completely fine. Good character, Number one, very well played character, and then the development from being second in command, and then rising up to survive against this unknown force of destruction and death. That's what makes the character so interesting and believable, because Ripley has to grow into something she wasn't at the beginning. That's what makes a character so good, and that's what people want to see. Not this, oh my God, I'm so badass, I can do everything myself and better than man, and no one wants to see that, which is very clear by the numbers, because movies and shows of characters like that all flop, because no one watches them, not even the people that want to make this stuff.
I'm sure we've all experienced it, but just having to walk around like men it's a completely boring thing to watch.
It's ironic because you're kind of stripping if you want to use the term femme fatale, like in a film noir context, you're stripping them of their secret weapon. You watch Double Indemnity or something, like Phyllis in that movie wouldn't be nearly as effective without the seductive element, right? Like she's got everybody wrapped around her finger in that, but she's unmistakably female. And yet she's
Yeah.
the agent of action and violence, and she is 100% the linchpin that drives forward this horribly corrupt murder plot and everything. Like just watch classic film noir. And the irony is that a lot of the Eastern media they're inspired by those old movies and they're throwing them back at us, but they've still got the inspiration, and we have
Yeah.
long since left it in the dust
Yeah.
in favor of this putrid nonsense that we
And the thing is, that's all by design in the West. They want to destroy the old culture because they see it as evil. And of course, they wanted to replace it with multiculturalism, which, by the way, doesn't work, which you can see in every country that tries it. Just saying. Just look at the crime rates at these countries.
have in movie theaters now.
So today I want to quickly cover
Great video. That was good.